Welcome back. Today we're going to continue talking about Jesus, who he is and what he has done for us. If you remember last week, we talked about how Jesus is fully God. And let's review our verse really quick. Are you ready? John 10:30, I and the Father are one. I have another verse I want to share with you today that touches on this same idea that Jesus truly is fully God. In John chapter 1, verse 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. If you read through the rest of this chapter, you will see that the Word refers to Jesus, the man who is fully God. Now, let me give you a little demonstration to kind of help understand this further. If you can, go ahead and pause this and go grab a piece of paper. Okay, so now I want you to take your paper, and you can pause it again for a moment, and do something with this paper. Be creative. I don't care what, but do something with your piece of paper. Okay? All right, so what did you do with your paper? Did you fold it into some cool origami thing? Or did you maybe write a letter or draw a beautiful picture? Maybe you tore it into pieces and made confetti. I don't know. There's lots of things you can do with a piece of paper. But if you look, that is still a piece of paper. The substance of it, what it truly is, has not changed. It's still a paper. And we're going to go a little further into this week how Jesus, even though he was still fully in substance God, chose to become a man. Jesus chose to humble himself and become a man as well, with a lot of the same concerns that we have. He got hungry, he got thirsty, he cried, he even bled and died. And we'll look more at that as we go through our Explore. But what I want to touch on today is why? Why did he do that? Let's look a little bit further down in John chapter 1. I'm going to read that first verse again. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now we're going to continue down to our memory verse for this week, John 1:14, and it says, the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. We can see through this verse and many other verses in the Bible that Jesus did come, being fully God, he did come to be a man. But like I asked earlier, why? Why would he do this? Well, I'm going to tell you a little story to help illustrate that a little bit. It's really a hard question to fully answer. It's a hard question to fully answer, but maybe this story will help give you a little bit of an idea. There was a man who lived quite a few years ago whose name was Bruce Olson, and he decided to go down to Venezuela to be a missionary to a group of people called the Mataloni tribe, who were a very feared tribe. They were a very fearsome tribe, and most people who went into their area did not come back alive. But he felt that God wanted him to go and share the gospel, share his word, his love with these people. And so he did. He went down there and he started to live with these people and started to learn their language, to learn their traditions. And he was trying to figure out, how can I explain to them how God became a man? And then it came to him. He had heard a story, this legend that they had. And as you look around, he could look and see all of their huts. And here's a picture of one of their huts right now. Does it look like anything you might recognize? Well, they felt that it looked a lot like an anthill. We'll see ants, and you see these busy ants going around building these. These ants were busily scurrying around trying to build a home, and this Mataloni walked along and saw them, and he thought, they need my help. And so he bent down and he started trying to help them and give them sticks. And well, they all just ran and scattered. They were scared. And he thought, how am I going to help them? I know a good way to build this. How am I going to help them? And so he, in the story, became an ant. And in becoming an ant, he was able to go in to get to know them. He was able to teach them, to talk with them. He learned their customs, their languages as an ant. He became an ant. Well, after they had known him for a while, then he told them, do you remember a long time ago there was this man that came and was trying to put some sticks and stuff and you guys all ran away? He said, that was me. And they looked at him and just laughed and said, "You've got to be kidding." He said, "I knew you needed help and I wanted to help you. And so I became an ant like you." Well, they didn't believe him until he turned back into a Motoloni man and he knelt down next to them. And they had seen this happen. And so they just stayed there and he started helping build their anthill. And he made it look just like the Motoloni huts. And in their legend, that is why anthills look like Motoloni huts. Well, that story hopefully can help us kind of picture why Jesus came. He could look and he could see these people that were lost, that didn't know their way. And as God, he had this great love that he wanted to help take care of these people, help save these people from the direction they were heading, to help save you and me. And so he chose to come and become a man so that we could know that he understood what it meant to be a man, that he knew what it took, that when you were hungry, when you were thirsty, when you were in pain, when you went through struggles or were sad, he could understand because he had lived it and had been a man. And he didn't stop with just understanding our struggles. He went to the point where he was willing to completely die and give up his life because he loved us. But as we talked about last week, because he's also fully God, he had power over death. And he has power over his own death, but ours as well. Yes, our bodies will die, but our soul can live forever with him if we just accept that. So let me look one more time at this week's verse. In John 1:14 says, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth."